Hello and welcome to this very short video on a series of slow motion clips on the Sony DSC-RX10 II. There you go. The reason I've put this video together is because when I was really thinking about buying this camera, I wanted to know how good the slow motion was. And there weren't very many clips going around on the net, so maybe this will help you decide whether or not this is the camera for you. It's a Sony bridge camera. It shoots 4K, but what we're going to concern ourselves with here is the slow motion capabilities, because what I wanted was something that had a little bit of something extra in the toolbox as a videographer. First of all, let's have a look at this shot. If you look at the moire on the house on the left, I'm going to freeze it and just so that we can have a quick look. As we move into the house, the moire you can see is changing all the time, and it's really quite distracting. And in fact, I've put this shot near the beginning because it is probably one of the worst aspects of this camera. This camera is a bridge camera. It's got a Carl Zeiss lens, and in all respects, I mean, the stills are lovely. It's got some really nice footage as far as 4K is concerned, and the general picture quality is very, very good. But I would say that the moire from that shot shows it in one of its worst lights. Okay, so moving on, now we've got this shot here, which is typical Berkshire countryside. I shot this footage really within the space of 2 hours on a journey back from a shoot in Tamworth near Birmingham to a location near Reading via Henley. And the thing that I really love about slow motion, as you can see from these shots, is the almost sort of anti-grav like feel, or the weightlessness of the camera. You know, here we are on the motorway travelling at about 70 miles an hour, and you wouldn't know it, but the footage looks amazing because it just slows everything down, really. And this is a shot just to prove that you need to be moving the camera at a fair lick. If you want to be doing things like pans, they're all happening at about a tenth of the normal speed. So it's a good idea, almost like the guys who were doing the original model work for Thunderbirds. They were landing Thunderbird 2 in the space of, a few seconds because they were over cranking the camera. So just bear in mind that if you don't pan that camera quickly, you're going to get a slow pan as well as a slow shot. So on the way back, obviously we stopped in for a quick beverage, and this is beautiful light to shoot some of these scenes. Some of the light. I mean, this is the ideal lighting conditions for this camera. If you're shooting slow motion, then you want to be taking advantage of good light, and you also want to be aware that because the camera has, I think, mainly 3 rates, 960 frames a second. Don't use that if you can possibly avoid it, because 960 frames a second, what you're doing is you're zooming in to a very small part of a 1-inch sensor. So you're going to get a massive amount of moire, even more moire than you do from these shots. Then I think it goes to about 500 frames a second, which I would also avoid. And then ideally the optimum slow motion is, I believe it's about 250 frames a second, something like that. And that, if that's not enough for you, you can always stick it into something like Twixtor and get it to slow down from that. But that's probably what you need. Here we've got some flames from the fire inside the pub, which look fantastic. I mean, it's really lovely. If you want to do things like flaming effects, or people throwing around fire or vampire breathing or stuff like that. And you know, that's it really. I mean, it's not a very hard camera to set up. It's not a very hard camera to use. On this shot, it's just to give you, this wasn't shot on the same day. This was shot on another day. As you can see, it's a darker day, it's raining, and there's a lot of noise on that sensor. So ideally, good light, good weather conditions, LEDs if you're going to shoot indoors, you can't use mains light. And I have to say, I really recommend this camera. Thanks very much for watching, and speak to you soon.